we are trying to do things that CBO is not doing in terms of fiscal analysis. Obviously, when you do fiscal analysis, you have to do a lot of the same things CBO does. But like, for example, one of the things we just released yesterday is looking at new ways of thinking about deficits and debt. So I think it's well understood that when deficits and debt go up, interest costs go up as a result. Interest rates, broadly speaking, in the economy go up. But we have a new report that tried to put that in terms of the normal household. So, for example, if there's a 1% of GDP increase in the primary deficit, which just so happens to be roughly the effect of extending the TCJA, after 5 years, for the typical mortgage, the interest costs on the typical mortgage go up by $600 to $1,200 as a result of that. And that's from crowding out and from the Fed reacting to counteract price pressure. The typical interest on small business loan goes up by $1,000 as a result of that. There's not a lot of conversation in DC about like those, Main Street household level effects from deficits and debt. So I think we really want that to be part of the conversation as well.
Do we need a Social Security Commission where President Trump, so he can be codified into American history, says whatever the commission comes up with, unlike the others, is binding? Are we at that point right now where to get away from 14% of the deficit, of the budget rather, we need to attract the attention to the 86%, and we need a Social Security Commission?
I mean, we have to address Social Security as part of the problem. Social Security has a trust fund, it is supposed to be self-financing, and it's going to run out of money. It's probably not going to run out of money within the Trump administration, but I got to tell you, if they end up exempting Social Security benefits from taxation as part of this plan that they're doing, it might run out of money within the Trump administration. So we might need a Social Security Commission sooner rather than later.
So in the backstop of all that, Ernie, is just the economic policy coming out of the Trump administration seems to be tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. How do you frame that out in kind of just from a big perspective?
Yeah, so I guess fiscally, there are a couple ways of thinking about it. There's like a fiscal way of thinking about it, an economic way about thinking about it. Fiscally, the way I think about it is that what we've done so far, the 20% tariffs on China, that raises about $800 billion, maybe a little bit less over 10 years if you implement them. That's not nearly enough to pay for TCJA extension, even if you did TCJA extension for 5 years. And they really need more revenue to be able to offset the cost of TCJA extension. So what I've been telling clients is that's really one reason why we should be expecting more tariffs to come one way or the other. Now, not necessarily on China, although I don't think that's a bad bet, but somewhere they're going to try to implement more tariffs because you need $2.5 trillion to extend the TCJA for 5 years. They've already only raised at most $800 billion from tariffs. They need to go further.